Okay, LED light bulb review and teardown time. This is a Facto A19 LED light bulb. This is a house brand of a Canadian big box hardware retailer. Okay, so it was a glass envelope, which is fairly unusual, and there's a planar emitter array, but they put a little tiny piece of opaque material here to direct the light out a bit to the side. I haven't seen that construction before. Okay, the emitter is out of its housing. It's a nice casting. You can see a nice flat surface here. There is a lot of thermal grease, so of course that draws the heat away, so the emitter hopefully stays as cool as possible. Inside a little circuit board, we'll zoom into that in a moment. The standard A-shaped base here, and that little interesting diffuser for the light. Interesting enough, of course, this one doesn't have any potting compound. Not an overly common sighting, but no potting. Okay, this is the power supply. Lots of interesting things you can tell from an assembly. This date code here, the 1429, tells me that it was built in the 29th week of 2014. This bulb was in my hands by the 40th week of this year, so that's what's known as a good sell-through. The material isn't sitting in the inventory chain too long, so that's a really good sign. Let's see, a resistor here acting probably like a fuse. There's some more snubbing components here for conducted emissions. There's a transformer that appears to be here, a smoothing capacitor on this side here, rated to 125 degrees centigrade. On the back here, the full wave rectifier, of course, AC/DC, a very small and modest controller. Again, the controller is not marked in a way that points me immediately to a manufacturer, so it would actually require a decap, similar to what I did on the IKEA bulb previous to this teardown, where you throw the thing into acid and etch it off the plastic to see what the dye is beneath. So it looks like a fairly clean and straightforward assembly, however. Okay, one nice thing about buying a box actually at the retail level in North America is that there's a better chance that it'll have some UL listings on it. This number here actually can be looked up in a database, and here let's pop up the information sheet. You can actually trace where the bulb's coming from, so even though this is just a generic house brand bulb, you can actually learn who actually manufactures the product. So the packaging claimed 9.8 watts. You can see the watt-hour meter is reading a little bit higher, and the power factor is quite a bit for immunity. It's only 0.82. So here's a flicker test without using actual test equipment. You can see there's a couple of bands on the light bulb. That's known as an aliasing effect. Essentially the flicker of the light bulb and the shutter speed of the camera create this phenomena. It's really easy to check if a light bulb has flicker by doing this. Okay, dimmer test. I have a very old style dimmer here in a bulb, and you can see some flashing there. That's because the bulb isn't overly happy with this dimmer. I like this dimmer a lot because it predates LED light bulbs, and it's a good example sometimes what happens with dimmability. I can't imagine a consumer actually buying the bulb having an older style dimmer like this, which I'm sure there are millions out there, and having some poor performance and then going, of course, off to an electrician to replace their dimmer. They would just simply return the bulb to a retailer. So no, there's a warning on the packaging that this bulb has lots of trouble with certain dimmers, so it's not a big surprise. Lots of bulbs are labeled that way because some of these older style dimmers can really play havoc with the light patterns out. So in terms of strange text I've never seen before in a light bulb, it says that I'll pop up the little bit here. It says not to put more than 100 of these onto a light string at a time, which kind of amuses me because the electric code, at least in where I live, I think it's around 12 outlets per branch circuits allowed. So unless you're trying to build a marquee sign with these, I guess, they actually took some trouble to point out that you can't do more than 100 bulbs in a 20 amp branch circuit. Okay, light distribution pattern. The bulb is firing nicely on the sides. It's firing decently on the top here. Not a lot of light coming down through this direction here, but still a very usable light pattern. Okay, let's tally the score for this light bulb. Let's see. Dimmability wasn't so good in this one. I'll give it a -1. The efficiency or efficacy, it was 10 watts at 800 lumens, 80 lumens per watt. That certainly is well within class competitive in 2014, so I'll give that one +1. The light pattern was entirely usable, +1. It wasn't overly a spotlight or anything like that. It was certainly fit into most of A-shaped light fixtures. Flicker in the bulb, unfortunately, so -1 for that. In terms of cost, it was not too bad actually. It was pretty reasonable. So +1 for that. And in terms of warranty, the warranty is 3 years. There's no weird 3 hours per day or anything like that on the warranty in the back there. Just a good straightforward 3 years. So I'll give a +1 for that. So there we go. That's the Facto A-shaped 9.8 watt 800 lumen LED light bulb.